Jesse Passafiume, how you doing, bud?
Bob, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Excited to have you here. We'll let the audience kind of get in here as we get started. Jesse, we're going to talk today about ways that our Brivity people can use mortgage as a reason to reach out into their database, right, and give them potentially some more opportunities in their database.
Yeah.
Jesse, the reason I asked you to come here, and you were very adamant in the like when we were talking before, you said, "Look, I don't want this to be a commercial for Envoy Mortgage, which is who you work for." And I said, no, I totally get it, Jesse. But guys, the reason I invited Jesse is if there is something I know about you and your teams at Envoy, you guys do a really good job of partnering with real estate agents to help them find more business. And so that's the angle that we're coming from. Jesse, what you have some, you said, look, guys, you guys can take the words I'm going to use today and take them back to your local loan officer, the person that you use, that your trusted advisor, right? And bring this stuff to them in an effort to get them to help you. Am I missing the mark there, Jesse?
No, absolutely. So I'm going to, Bob, I'll probably show a couple of slides, and they're very kind of Envoy specific slides. But really the purpose here is as I want everyone to understand what products exist, right? And how to use them. So as Bob said, I will give you the words you can use to go back to your local loan officer and say, hey, do you have this product? Get a hold of that product for yourself and then use it, to engage your clients and get more business. So that's really the purpose. So I just wanted to be clear, I'm fully Envoy branded, but this is really about helping you in your market with your database use finance. And I'm super passionate about that because I think we're entering into a market, right, that's really like expertise based more than it has been in a long time. So fewer transactions this year, NAR settlement stuff, everything going on. We really need to say, okay, how can I use my partners to close more business? And finance is kind of this underutilized resource, right? We all have a good loan officer that we trust, know, love, and trust, that gets deals closed on time. But how do we get creative and actually drive more business, right? Open up, unlock opportunities that didn't exist before.
I think
So,
there are, I hesitate to put this out of the world. There are people out there, maybe me and my wife included, that if taken by the hand, Jesse, and guided through a few things in real estate, might actually transact. Whereas without that guidance, without somebody like grabbing your hand and kind of saying, hey, have you considered this? Or you're just going to sit and kind of wait, right? And honestly, like that's where I'm at right now. Like, I think if I did have somebody that really grabbed my hand and was like, hey, what are you trying to do? Okay, here's the things that are available. And I'm not saying for sure that I'd go and do it, right? But there's a lot more opportunity. And I think a lot of people right now are maybe sitting on their hands as a consumer because they don't know exactly how to move through this market. And I love that you called this a skills based. Like this is becoming a skills based game for an agent.
yeah. And, interesting. So John Burns Research and Consulting does a home buyer sentiment report every single month. And in July, they had the lowest number of people since they've started doing this survey that believe now is a good time to buy a home. 14%, Bob, of potential home buyers believe now is a good time to buy a home. I think they're completely wrong, but that's how people feel. So every phone call you make, every buyer that engages you, you just have to assume they're coming to the table thinking now is a bad time to buy a home. They think values are going to plummet. And it's like 2008. We still have the 2008 crew that's alive and well out there for some reason. Or they think interest rates are just going to fall off the face of the earth. So it's our job to say, hey, listen, those things could potentially be true. And even if they are, what does that mean for you in the future?
All right. So we got a bevy. I don't know if 4 is a bevy, Jesse, but we have a few things here that we're going to share with the audience, with the crew, right? That they can use, kind of take back to their loan officer and potentially get into their database and find some business. So what's number one?
Yeah, number one is, are you writing strong enough offers and winning every deal, right? So what'll happen is we talked to a buyer 6 months ago and they're like, well, I'm not sure. We really want to buy. We want to buy our new home. We want to upgrade. but we need to sell our home first, and we don't know if now's a good time to sell because there's a lot of inventory, right? Like this group of buyers that you have that was reluctant for some reason can take advantage of the market today. So Bob, I'm just gonna throw up, and we can move quickly through number one here, but I just want everyone to be aware of three financing products that can have an impact. Number one is a buy before you sell product. There are companies out there, HomeLight, Knock, right? Your local loan officer will have access to these. We are absolutely like when someone comes to us and they say, "Boy, I really want to buy a house. I think now's a good time. I'm confused about selling my house. There's more days on market potentially. I don't know what I'm going to get for it, and I found my dream home on your MLS site, right on your Brivity site." We want to be able to serve those people immediately. Okay. Also, while nationally, kind of the market's changing, Austin, Texas, and Miami, Florida, we see some prices dropping. There are other places like Washington and Connecticut where home values are still ticking up, right? So we want to take advantage of that. So you need to be aware of the buy before you sell product. Okay. There's also a cash product, like in Southern California, Riverside County right now. I mean, we are still like all cash offers, 15-day close, right? It's completely counter to the national story that things are slowing down. So you need to have a cash edge product. And there are a lot of cash offer products out there. You just need to find one that works for you. Ours happens to be called the Cash Edge, powered by a company called Lead Off. And this allows our buyers to make cash offers. So when you have a buyer that comes in and they're frustrated, somebody you're working with today, they're frustrated, they've made a couple of offers, how are you serving them with finance? And then the other thing, the tool that we're not thinking about as agents is using a home equity line of credit as bridge financing. There are several companies out there that are doing this now, and we absolutely love it. We do this. I mean, we're doing this multiple times a month. So if someone has equity in their current home, we can pull that equity out, down payment on new home, and then we can take the time to stage, clean up, sell, maximize value on departing residents. So this is an area where someone comes into your office, they come into your universe, and they're like, I want to buy, but I'm not ready now, right? So you've got a whole list of buyers who are like not ready now. Can we get them ready now to take advantage of this market today, right? So these are three products that I want you to go out and make sure you understand how they work. Talk to your loan officer, the buy before you sell, a cash offer product, and then HELOC for bridge.
Jesse, on any of these, depending on what the right move was, or like as a loan officer, you sit down. Let's say I'm the buyer or the seller or whatever. You sit down with me and kind of walk me through all the mechanics and maybe more than anything, the numbers behind all, because I don't know, like to the layman, it feels a little bit complicated, but I assume when it's all laid out there, I'm like, okay, I see what it's going to cost me. I see where the money moves. I see how I end up in my other house and get, the maximum value for the house we have now. I'm
Yeah.
assuming you lay it all out.
Yeah, your loan officer has to lay this out, right? And listen, here's what I tell people. There's no free money.
Yeah.
There's no free money, and I think that's what you're referencing. Like all of these things have some kind of cost associated with them. Our job as real estate professionals, and this is where I want you to work with your mortgage professional, kind of the theme here, work with your mortgage professional to align need with the available product. Let me give you an example. The buy before you sell product, that costs between 2 and 2.4% of your departing residence. That's expensive, right? But price is what you pay, value is what you get. How valuable is it to move out of your house without having to sell it, without having no contingent sale, and then having 120 days to sell your departing residence to maximize value, right? So yes, that's you have to sit down with each client. These are not easy products. These are not like there's nothing free about them. But when you understand the cost benefit analysis, that's where your finance partner comes in. Your client understands it, you can move faster.
I think, yeah. I mean, people want what they want, right, Jesse? And a lot of people are willing to pay for what they want, even at 2 or 3 or 6%, right? Whatever we charge.
It's cheap. It's cheap when you look at the value that it provides, right? That's why I want all of our real estate partners to be aware of it. And it allows you to go back into your database, those reluctant buyers, and give them an alternative. That's the key, right? You give them an alternative, and that's what we're looking for.
Jesse, there's a meme. I don't know. It's like a reel out there. I just saw it yesterday, and when I saw it, I ran up to my wife and I'm like, "This is my absolute nightmare." And it's a lady out on a paddleboard way out in the ocean, way out in the blue ocean, Jesse. And there's a pod of orcas that surrounds this lady. Have you seen this reel?
I have. That
You
is
have. Is
horrifying.
that the
Because I
most terrifying thing
paddleboard
you've ever?
in the ocean, and that is horrifying.
I mean, I grew up in I went to high school in a little town, Blaine, Washington, up by Bellingham, and so the ocean, the water's there, right? It's Puget Sound, and I used to go out on a ski boat with my best friend's dad. He'd take us out on the ski boat, and every time I'd fall on that boat and I'd sit out there in the ocean water, all I could think was, "There's definitely something looking at my toes right now." But uh, okay, all of that to say, I think our next. I hope I didn't mess that up. By the way, I think our next strategy is you call it unlock blue ocean business.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's a book. It has nothing to do with orcas or paddleboarding, but there's a
Okay.
book called Blue Ocean Strategies. And the theory is, if you want to win in business, you need to fish where other people are not, right? The red ocean is where everybody's living. Everybody's living in, kind of the same area, right? We're all talking to
Right.
buyers that raise their hand and say they want to buy. What is the blue ocean? And this is a database opportunity, a Brivity opportunity for our clients, right? For our real estate partners. So here's the way I think about this. There are a couple of, so after 2008, the market collapsed and we lost a lot of our creative loan programs, right? Rightfully so. They were structured incorrectly. They created global systemic problems, right? And anyway, we don't need to say much more about that. It was a mess.
If you were
Okay.
here, if you weren't, go
Yeah,
check
don't worry
your
about it. Go
history books.
read a book.
Yeah.
Go watch the Big Short and see, and you'll see what happened. Um, since then, we had a drought where pretty much it was FHA and conventional business. Okay, in the last 3 or 4 years, the market has been bringing back very thoughtfully what we call non-QM, non-qualified mortgage products. Those products have created opportunities that went away. They existed pre 08. They went away. They're coming back more thoughtfully, better structure. We think we're in much better shape now for a lot of reasons that I don't need to get into. But Bob, there's really three blue ocean strategies that I like that you could tap into your database today on.
Right.
Number one is we call it the debt service coverage ratio loan. And this is engaging investors, right? So you have done transactions over the last year for people that have great net worth. Okay. There's a lot of uncertainty in the stock market today. There are products, and so when you're going back to your loan officer, non-QM, non-qualified mortgage is kind of tag one, tag two, and many of you are probably familiar with this already. DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. This means that we use the rental income to qualify. The rental income to qualify. So this is a great product to help your current homeowners buy investment properties. And Bob, the organizations you and I are involved in, we've got a 5-10 plan, right? We think everybody should own at least 5 rental properties because it's a great way to build wealth. So the blue ocean strategy is, hi, making my sphere of influence calls. Do you have any plans to buy or sell real estate in the next 12 months? Any real estate related plans, right? I'm getting the script wrong, Bob. I'm sorry, but
No, you're good.
no, you don't. Okay. How are you feeling about the market? How are you feeling about your investment strategies? There are some new loan programs that are available to help homeowners like you actually buy investment properties. And there's a lot of, we don't have time today. Single family long-term rentals, because of affordability, are going to be very strong as investments going forward. Okay. And that's a whole nother hour. But for a lot of reasons, single family rentals, right, are really a strong asset class. So you can help and you can create business for yourself. That's why it's blue ocean. You take somebody that's like, I don't know, I've always been afraid of rentals. Okay, cool. I've got a great property management for you. I've got a great loan program for you. Let's take a look at it more closely. Oh, by the way, we can use a HELOC from your current home, the 5-day HELOC I showed you before, and then we can use DSCR, and you can basically get into a rental property with very little cash out of your pocket and start creating cash flow now. Again, Bob, I think you know, you got to sit down, you got to understand the numbers. We don't want to create problems for people, but this is a beautiful program to unlock.
Jesse, I want to use measured language here. I think most real estate professionals could not take their customer through this. Like, I I don't know, man. I've been around for a really long time. I hear a lot of people on the phones. I just question, like, this is that skills based market you're talking about. Like, people are going to be successful in this market if they can sit, if they, and you don't have to know it today. Like Chris, Glenn, Harry, Elaine, I don't know if you guys know this stuff or not, right? But man, I hope your lender does. I hope you've got somebody that you can go and sit down with and educated about this in the way that Jesse's sitting down with some of Ben Kinney's partners and helping to educate them about the debt service coverage ratios. Man,
It's a
okay.
beautiful product. And, you know, if someone is interested in diversifying their investment portfolio into single family rentals, now's a good time. And we have a product. The second blue ocean opportunity, and this one, Bob, it blows my mind how often we tell people we can't help them. The other part of the non-QM equation that I want you to think about is your self-employed, and then there's a third part we'll get to in a second, but your self-employed buyers. We are now able to do a phenomenal job with self-employed buyers. That's all of you on the phone today, right? On this meeting. You're self-employed. We can use bank statements, tax returns, P&Ls, or assets. Okay. In your networking event, the blue ocean opportunity here is you have a bunch of business partners that you've been working with for a long time, right? You're probably part of Rotary or BNI groups, right? Where you're sharing referrals. You need to make sure they're aware that the non-QM suite of products now allows us to do great loans, 10 to 20% down, sometimes less for self-employed buyers, right?
Jesse, was there a time where these were like non-existent or super duper hard to come by?
Yeah, 4 years ago, these didn't exist, maybe even
Okay.
5, right? I'd have to look back. I mean, this is a post 2008, there was a drought. There was a 12, 15-year drought where it was really hard to do loans for self-employed folks. It is not hard now. It is not hard now. And so that, like, I think that depending on how long you've been in the business, if you just started a couple years ago, you're probably aware of these products. But I will tell you, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. And, you know, when I first saw these products, I was like, oh, come on, here we go again. But now I'm all in because every single BNI opportunity, every single real estate agent on this call can now transact. And we're just not thinking about that enough. Okay. So self-employed buyers. The other thing, Bob, I love is that we are doing I-10 loans, right? So for individuals, foreign nationals, non-resident aliens that have a taxpayer ID number. We can do those loans all day long. We're
Call
doing
it an I-10, like ITIN.
ITIN. You got it. Tax identification number. I'm goofing this. My brain is melting, but so we can do these I-10 loans. So it's another blue ocean opportunity, right? And we have, I mean, the dream of home ownership in America is alive and well. This is also a product class that kind of went away for many years. That's back, and we're doing a lot of these. If you have an I-10 number and you're paying taxes in the United States, you can buy a house. Okay, we have you need 20% down, which is a challenge sometimes, right? But save some money and let's buy a house. So that's another opportunity, you know, to jump into your database.
I think of, I don't know, like especially number 2 there. I think of like, man, if I really wanted to go target those people, like I could probably spin up some Facebook ads. I could probably reach out to the Brivity team and have them create even pay-per-click ads around, you know, self-employed buyers and
Yeah, what's the old the riches are in the niches, something like that. I don't know,
yeah.
but this is one of those niches, like self-employed is a niche, right? And it's funny, one of these kind of mortgage gurus, I always try and just keep track of everybody. They're like, you've got to start marketing I-10, you've got to start marketing self-employed, you got to start marketing DSCR. We've been talking about it for a while, but these are niches that you can leverage, leverage the Brivity team to help you get into.
Man, the DSCR, I mean, who doesn't want to have a product that speaks to an investor, a potential investor, somebody that's never really invested in real estate, but has the assets and the to be able to do it, the net worth to be able to do it.
I'm going to pop up if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen again quickly.
Okay.
And you get extra credit if you can identify the quirkiness of this slide. I just want to show you an example. This is a real estate agent that we have in South Carolina that was making sphere of influence calls, okay, into their Brivity database. They bumped in and said, hey, do you want to buy any more properties? Where are you at? I know you own some properties. Let's go. Now could be a good time. This client said, you know what? I'm not ready to buy right now. I have a huge construction project I'm struggling with. The real estate agent was like, great. Have you heard of the DSCR loan? We might be able to unlock some equity for you. Referred them over to the finance partner, right, which happened to be an Envoy loan officer in this case. That's why I have the slide. And we were able to do a cash out on 8 investment properties, pull 1.1 million to help them finish their Miami project. Okay. We are now using the DSCR to go back in and build the portfolio from 8 properties to 12 properties. So this real estate agent, talking to an investor they had done business with for a long time, was able to solve a problem for them, which was I need $1.1 million cash in the next 30 days using the DSCR product. And now, based on how simple and easy that was, they are out shopping for additional rental properties because they now realize they don't have to pay cash, right? They had all their cash tied up. They had no leverage. They weren't using leverage properly. And so the agent and the loan officer working together were able to put a thoughtful leverage plan together, maintain positive cash flow. And this is kind of an advanced use case, Bob, but this is what's possible when you get into this niche, right? And you get into your database and you think differently. So instead of saying, oh, you don't want to buy any investment properties? Okay, thanks. Have a great day. Let me know if I can help you. He said, wait, why don't we use finance? Why don't we create some leverage for you? Why don't I get you your $1.1 million and then we'll move on.
Jesse, here's the other thing about I would bet my left leg that this gentleman has friends that do similar things to what he does. Like 100%. When you help somebody like this, like that's not the last time that you help that you do that in that person's world. Like you do it for their friends for sure.
100%. And I don't see anybody pointing out in the chat that was Eddie Vedder.
Oh, get out of here.
No, it wasn't actually Eddie Vedder. The guy didn't want to use his picture. So,
so that's actually Eddie Vedder.
You're for Washington, guys. Why not? All right.
I'm actually embarrassed of myself.
I don't want to get myself in trouble. It was not actually Eddie Vedder.
Okay. I was going to say, I met Eddie Vedder at a Home Depot here in Seattle, I don't know, 15 years ago. Anyway.
That's funny.
All right, what do we got?
All right. So number 3. Yeah. So I want to talk about our low income and low down payment borrowers for a minute, Bob, if you don't mind. Your Brivity database is generating leads, right? Whether they're passively, actively, people come into your universe. Loan officers, and this is a problem I deal with too with my team, but I was on the phone with a loan officer and they're like, down payment assistance programs are stupid. We don't make any money. They're a big pain in the neck. There are so many opportunities right now in the US, and I don't want to, not political, but depending on what happens here with the politics, there's a proposal on the table to offer $25,000 of down payment assistance to anybody that wants to buy a house, their first house, right? So whether that's going to happen or not is irrelevant, okay? But what we realize is that it's really another blue ocean opportunity, is that there is a huge need in our market for assistance in buying a home. We know that real estate it's an up and to the right thing, right? That's why I want to ask, why is it always a good time to buy a house? I go, I don't know, look at the chart. Since we started measuring, it's up and to the right. So that's why. What I want you to do is I want you to work with your loan partner to make sure you understand all of the available programs for down payment assistance. And I want you to go back into your database. And a lot of people that we told no to, or we said, go save some money for down, and you don't qualify for the 3.5%. There are programs coming out every single month. Our Envoy is set up with over 50 of housing, the HFAs, housing finance authorities. We have over 700 individual program codes in our system for down payment assistance. A lot of loan officers don't love this business, okay, because it's more difficult. So I want you to make sure you have a finance partner that leans into the down payment assistance. I'm gonna just throw up a slide real quick and show you a couple of options that exist out there, so you can take some notes. We call it our Envoy Home Assist program, right? It's kind of a global program that we run, that we're here to help. There are, like, the down payment assistance programs will allow you to go down to 600 credit score and like as little as 0 down payment. So Bob, when you look at your leads, right? It's so, I mean, this happens all the time for us, where we're like, oh yeah, you really don't have any money down, or oh, your credit score is not great, probably not a good time. I will tell you, we can do loans for a lot of those folks. We end up with a lot of turndowns that come into our system, where we're able to engage them in one of these local subsidy programs and actually save them a ton of money. So this is a huge opportunity to get into your Brivity database and close a larger percentage. People that you've been saying no to, or people that you don't think qualify, check, do the work. Do the work. Force your loan team to do the work to figure this out. Because if we can get them in now, they begin building equity today, right? And now we're building wealth. And we all know the stats, right? I mean, the average homeowner has a $400,000 higher net worth than the average renter. Why wouldn't we want that for every single client that comes across our desk?
This is, I mean, I don't know, Jesse, in many ways, this is just about, because the agent on the call, this, you don't have to know the ins and outs of this program. I need Jesse on the other end of a phone, and whenever I run into somebody in my database where they're like, we've been struggling to save for that, or the credit's not quite, I say, you know what? Hey, listen, I want you to talk to my guy Jesse. In fact, is it okay if I have him call you? What's a good time for you? Like, it's just a handoff, you guys. It's a handoff, right, to a really qualified loan professional that can help them realize, okay, I can buy.
Yep. Love it. And we have national programs. We have programs. There are programs that exist that don't require you to be a first-time home buyer. There are programs without income restrictions. So there are a lot of options for folks that don't have down payment. I think it's really, really an important opportunity, especially in your Brivity database. When you're seeing people hit your IDX feed, hit your MLS, like let's engage.
All right. So we got number, let's recap here. So write stronger offers, and you gave us a few kind of products that can help us in some. We got the debt service coverage ratio, self-employed buyer stuff, the I-10, which is for the foreign nationals and the green card holders, I think, if I got that
Yep.
right.
Yep.
All right. Number 2, we've got unlock that blue ocean business. What were the couple strategies in there?
Yeah, so the right strong offers is the cash. Like, are you making cash offers, and are you doing the equity bridge, right? Are you allowing people to buy before they sell? Like, are you able to move your buyers fast enough?
Oh, I did the blue ocean opportunities. I'm
Yeah, the
sorry.
blue ocean is the
I
SCR.
called
Like,
out the
let's
blue
get in
ocean
and
stuff.
let's get in and help people buy investment properties, right? And then let's work on self-employed and I-10. And the third is, let's make sure we serve every customer, right?
Got it.
Make sure we serve every customer.
All right.
Great down payment assistance.
Number four.
Yeah, Ken, this one, I'm going to go off script a little bit here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's freestyle.
This is really important to me right now. I'm just going to show my screen again, and then we'll wrap this up and get everybody out of here, I promise. But we finally have a buyerish market. And so this is your Brivity opportunity. Anybody that looked at a house from basically last September, anybody that even raised their hand and said they might be interested, from last September until May or June, the market's completely different. If you are not picking up the phone and physically dialing every single potential buyer you have that didn't close a transaction in your database, you're missing. You're missing out. That is the number one thing you should be doing. And I know we're sending market reports and you're doing all the things, right? Pick up the phone and
You
call them.
better be doing all the things. Jesse, they better be sending the market
Okay.
reports and the listing alerts and have some kind of drip mechanisms engaged to be. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're not going to sell a house unless you get them on the phone. Promise.
Do all the things, get them on the phone. Check this out. This is one of my favorite. I call it the buyer-ish market because it's not fully a buyer's market yet. But look at the blue line is inventory, national, and the black line is interest rates. We have seen interest rates drop. Okay, so even just April, 7.3 down to 6.6. That's a huge change. That's a couple $100 a month savings. And then look at inventory. Boom, more houses available. 40% more inventory than the same time last year. 40% more homes listed in the United States than the same time last year. So you talk to somebody July of last year, there's 40% more homes available. And by the way, interest rates are better. We're still we're like 0.75% better than last year at this time. So the biggest database opportunity each and every one of us have is to go back to buyers that were waiting for something to change and letting them know that something has changed. It wasn't a 20% collapse in values. It wasn't interest rates back to 3%. All of that was never going to happen. What did happen? Inventory climbed, interest rates dropped. The combination of those two things makes this a really good market for buyers.
Well, I'm going back. I mean, I used to say all the time, Jesse, like, let's say you went and looked back 9 months, 6 to 9 months ago at the website visitors, like people that were coming to your website 6, 9 months ago, but haven't been back since then. What happened to those people? Right. And I'm trying to think now, it's been a long time since I've done this little spiel. There's like 3 things that happened to them. One, they bought a house back then, right? Like we missed the opportunity, Jesse. They bought a house back then. They didn't do it with us. 2, they're still looking today, but they like are looking somewhere else. They don't come to our website anymore because they like Redfin now, and that's where they've been looking now, but they've been looking for a while there. And then 4 is they gave up looking. And you're kind of in bucket 2 and 3 there for me, right? You're like, some of these people, they continue to look. They're maybe just not doing it on your side anymore, but they're out there looking somewhere still. But there are some of these people that are like, you know what? It wasn't for us, and it might be for them again now, is what you're saying, right? Interest rates have gotten to a spot. There's inventory, so they're not doing the crazy 20 offers. And some of those people may have even been in the market back then. Some of you guys have clients from 9 to 12 months ago that they just got tired of it. They're like, oh, we're just going to wait. And 100%, Harry, we should be circling back to those people, Doug, but we should be going and looking at those people that, I don't know, 6 to 12 months ago, Jesse, were active and no longer are, at least on our sites.
Yeah, and I've got like we use a slightly different CRM on our side. We've got this tag called max dials, right? Or no longer looking. We are ripping through those like you can't believe, and we are re-engaging. I have one gentleman who's making some dials for me who created 4 applications from max dial. So these are DQ. Bob, I'm sorry, I use sometimes different language. People that we had called 10 times.
Yeah.
Click on max dials, leave them alone, send them market reports, right? Created 4 applications yesterday from that list. Those are the people you want to re-engage. Hey, did you buy a house? Yes or no? If yes, then congratulations. We'll talk about a refinance later.
Yeah.
2 and 3, something's changed. Here's what happens to us as real estate agents and mortgage professionals. You're in it every day. Okay. You watch rates slowly creep down from 8% to 6.6%. If you're anything like me, you're still mad that they're not 5.5%. But let me tell you, the difference between 8% and 6.6 is massive, right? The difference between 520,000 homes listed in April and 698,000 is massive. Increased negotiating power, improved choices. My little market here, there was 1 or 2 houses listed for $700,000, right? For the last feels like 3 years. There's 6 now. So guess what? Those 6 sellers are ready to negotiate. I'm ready. Now you can play let's make a deal in my market. So yeah, I think getting back 12 months ago, 13 months ago, who was looking? Re-engage them. That is one of your greatest opportunities. You have the name recognition, you have their phone number and email address, which is helpful, and you know kind of what they were looking for. So if they were looking at $600,000 houses a year ago, home values have gone up a little bit. So now we're in the 640, 650 range in most markets. You can say, listen, when you were looking, there were X number of homes listed. Now there are Y. When you were looking, rates were 7.5. Now they are 6.5. Things have changed. You should get back in the market if you haven't bought already. Simple message, reactivation.
Jesse, there's one thing you didn't mention today that I think if I was just, massively blasting into a database, I would want in my back pocket. Don't you guys, and look, I hope I'm not throwing you a curveball and you're like, wow, no, we don't do that at all. I can't believe you did this to me. Don't you guys do like some kind of a cost of waiting, like benefit analysis? And I don't know if you have it there. Man, I feel like that's a really powerful tool that a loan officer could always kind of have available for an agent. I see you looking around, like maybe you're going to a file or something on
I
your
have
computer.
it. This is a tool we use, and I will, yeah, let me show you.
The reason I did this to you is because I don't think it was you, but somebody at Envoy I've seen do this before. It might have even been Ben, if I don't remember, but and I just thought as I was sitting there watching it, like, I mean, to bring us all the way back around to one of the first things you said, wow, that's highly skilled. Like the person doing this is highly skilled, and as a, especially if I was just a total newbie to the real estate market, it would have really. I mean, it did impress me, and I'm not a newbie.
This is, yeah, thanks for bringing this up. This is important. I just put the link in the chat so you can grab that link. It's on the Envoy website. And there are a bunch of cost of waiting calculators. Again, not an Envoy advertisement. This is what we talk to buyers about that are like, ooh, I'm going to wait. Going all the way back, Bob, remember the John Burns Research Consulting? Only 14% of buyers think now's a good time to buy. This is what the other, 86% need to see.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's how this looks. Buyer wait. I have a $500,000 purchase price with 10% down. I'm going to put the actual interest rate in here at 6.6. Okay. Average loan fees 1.25. Home price appreciation. We don't know what's going to happen over the next year. There's data all over the board. Look at your market. I'll even move that down to 5%, which I think probably where we're at. Let's say the whole point here is you're waiting for rates to drop. Cool. You just won the rate lottery and rates dropped 1.5%. So rates went down from 6.6 down into the 5s. Awesome. Check this out. The data changed a little bit here, but by waiting, if you buy now, 500,000. If you wait, house is 525. Your down payment goes up, your loan amount goes up, your loan payment drops. Congratulations, you saved $300 a month. However, what is the cost? Here's the cost. The cost is that the equity and down payment that you lose out on is $27,500. At $300 a month savings, it's going to take you 7 years to recapture that. And then as a side note, I always throw in, oh, by the way, if rates do drop 1.5, we can just refinance your loan as long as you qualify. Right? So you can still take advantage of the lower payments. But by waiting, it's expensive, right? And then this little thing here, Bob, also kind of clicks into a PDF that you can share with your customer, which is
By the way, like as you get back to that example, that's assuming that the rates dropped 1.5% in a very short time frame. Because to go from 500 to 525, that's like a year later, it's saying the rates dropped to one. So if it took 3 years for the rates to drop 1.5%, all of a sudden it's now a 21-year recapture. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you go 15%, we're not going to worry about compounding appreciation, which is like one of the greatest gifts of all real estate. It's 25 years. So if you wait a couple years to buy, you never get it back. You never get it back. You never get it back. And that is one of the most compelling messages you can deliver to buyers that are on the fence today.
Jesse Passafiume, man, everybody needs a mortgage person in their life that can do this kind of thing with your customers, that knows these products, that can sit down and have these consultations. I think you told me though, if any of the people on here, if Glenn or Doug or Call want to do it with you, like, sorry, Jesse is slammed booked. He's got every client he can handle. But you guys, go find an amazing loan officer in your own market. Bring them some of the stuff that Jesse taught us today. And gosh, guys, if they don't know exactly what you're talking about, go find somebody that does.
Yeah.
Fair?
Bob, I just put my email address into the chat here. It's my place email address.
Awesome.
And if you need a loan officer that knows these products, I've got 130 loan officers in 48 states. I'd love to connect you.
Jesse, he says, who's my main guy in San Diego? Glenn Moe, do me a favor, shoot Jesse a quick email, Jesse at Place, and he'll connect you with the folks down there in San Diego. Glenn, Harry, Kurt, Lee, thank you so much. Hey, Jesse, I know you're like slammed, buddy. You got a million things going on. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Go get them. Get into those databases and generate some business. Thanks, Bob.
You guys, you got it. Have a great week. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.